So if you'd like to join my YouTube channel and subscribe to the YouTube channel, then you can sort of pop out of the actual meeting and watch it be streamed live on YouTube. So we're just getting that started as well. All right, this is also going to be recorded. So let's go ahead and get it recorded. Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Let's go ahead and make sure that that is working. Thank you for being part of our Genius Biofeedback community. A few things that we need to talk about is that this coming week, I believe, let's go ahead and let's find the exact date for you. We're going to have a class to help you to, it'd be nice if this would cooperate, to help you to work on your Quanta capsule. So let's go ahead and get that set up as well. We'll also take your questions. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Ariel Policano. I teach and train people about the genius, and I have for about the last 9 years. It's my pleasure to bring you a weekly training. Anyone can join our training, and we warmly welcome you. We warmly welcome your questions. All right, let's see if we can make this happen here. What we want to do is, okay, we may need to bring you this link a little bit later. See if we can do it. All right. We'll go ahead and we'll circulate the class that's coming up very, very soon. Zoom won't let me get in there and give you this link, but I believe we're going to have a class on Thursday about the Quanta capsule. And right now, I guess I will take some of your questions. What are your sort of your pain points around the Quanta capsule, or are you finding that you're using it without any problem whatsoever? Are you finding that you're using your capsule and it's very easy to use, or do you have any questions that you'd like to ask about it? Okay, we do have a Quanta capsule skill building. It's coming up on Thursday at 12 o'clock Pacific. Let's go ahead and see if we can get a link for everyone. So we're going to copy this and we're going to go ahead and put it into our chat. So let's go ahead. This is going to be coming at you Thursday at, there we go. We'll put it on the calendar as well. So let's see if we can get it copied for you. We'll put it on the events calendar a little bit later on today, but it's Thursday at 12 o'clock Pacific, so everybody can join us. There we go. Okay. And we do want to, okay, we may have to change that link. So let's just go ahead and put another link in there and we'll get going. Also love to have your questions. A lot of people come to class, but they don't ask questions. So if you'd like to ask your questions, please do. We do want to get this exact link. So let's do the exact registration link. This is the very easy registration link. This would be for Thursday. If you'd like to come for a Quanta Capsule Clinic, we're going to send frequencies to the Quanta Capsule. We're going to show you exactly how to get Quanta Capsule credits. We're going to show you how to make it, maximize it for your patients and or your clients, and how to build your business with the Quanta Capsule. And we'll also have some special discount codes for the Quanta Capsule when you get them from the website, geniusbiofeedback.com. So that would be on Thursday at 12 o'clock Pacific. We want to take your questions today, so please go ahead and put any of your basic questions about the Genius Biofeedback system, and we want to help you to understand more. We want to go through some basic processes, and also if there are features on the Genius that you need help with, what are some of the features that maybe you want to learn more about? Let me know. We've gone through a number of different processes over the past couple of weeks. We're going to come back in, talk more about the meridians and Chinese medicine, since that is a huge interest for people. And we're going to have more guides, more processes. I think we have some for you today. So let's go ahead and see if we can get those. Emmett says, I can't get the app installed on my iPhone. So what's keeping you from doing that? Let's go ahead. We have a guide here today for a process for working with inflammation. Hello and good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So there is a link there for an inflammation harmonizing process. And we'll go ahead and get that right into the chat there. So you want to be in the chat, and we'll share it in our weekly newsletter as well. So this is a guide that is great for beginners. And I think we have a couple more guides to share with you. And we want any of your questions about any of the functions of the Genius. What do you want to know? We have a detox guide. So let's go ahead and share that detox guide as well. This is something that you could easily share with friends, with people who are interested in the Genius. And okay, let's see if we can get this corrected. Not allowing me to do that. Try that again. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm just trying to get the detox. So we've got a detox process for you as well. And let's see. So we have some questions. We've got some volunteers here. Peggy says, I've never used it and need to learn how. Haven't gotten to it yet. And Peggy, I hope you're talking about the Quantum Capsule. I certainly don't think you're talking about the Genius. So yes, so come to Thursday's class, Thursday at noon Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. Join us. I'm going to go right from the beginning. What is the Quantum Capsule? What does it do? What frequencies can you play on it? How much does it cost? All of that. And then bring your toughest questions and issues. So let's see if you have anything else that you're asking. Danielle H says, my clients have a hard time getting their capsule set up. I never received my capsule with my package, so maybe you can send it to me. Danielle, I don't know which package you got or which company purchased it from. We should talk about that if you got it through us. What we're doing now is we put a Quanta capsule into your Genius. So it's possible you've had that credit inside your Genius the whole time. And we do tell you that in the welcome letter, and you may just need to go to that credit. So try not to put too many customer service issues if it's unique to you. What would be super amazingly awesome if you could just send it to us so that we know about it. And then when we know about it, then we can help you personally. So if there's something unique to what you're doing that you need help with, you can always send a message, support@geniusbiofeedback.com, support@geniusbiofeedback.com. And we actually will call you, talk with you, email you, whatever we need to do to help you. And the nice thing about our support is we do get back to you within 24 hours, always responding to you, helping you, making sure that we've made that connection. Casey says, if I need to, so Casey, congratulations on your Genius. I know that you just got it over the weekend, so big congratulations to you. If I need to run a session for a client but don't have a new voice print, can I skip that and still have the connection based on the previous voice print? Yes, but what you need to know is that the voice print does not get saved within the Genius unless they have put it into a Quanta capsule. So you may want to come to class on Thursday to learn more about that. So when you go back and you see that voice area, we can look at that together. There's no voice clip that is actually saved there because of the size of a file that it takes to do a voice print. It's only there for the time that you record the voice, play it, and then it's not saved in there. So you would want to have a voice clip that is on a text or a voice message or something like that, that you could save somewhere and then play it to the actual Genius and have it re-record there. So you can do that, people do that, but that would be the way that you do it, or get them a Quanta capsule and then they can send you that voice and picture much more easily. So we can definitely help you with that. And you did get a credit with your package. Okay, I used this on Saturday and the score was 78%. Okay, I don't know what you're talking about. Did you use the inflammation process? I have another class on Thursday, but we'll look forward to the recording for sure. Thank you so much, Peggy, for letting us know that. Is there a replay of the Quanta Capsule class? I have work on Thursday. You guys try to make these, questions real relevant. I'm trying to read them live. So if they're like a service issue or you can't make a class, maybe don't put it in the comments. Every class that we do, there's never been a class that I've done in the past 9 years that has not been recorded. And if it's a free course, we have either issued it on YouTube or we have sent it to you in the newsletter. So asking things like, do we record the class? We always record the class unless it's some type of private exclusive event. So just letting you guys know that, okay? All right, so thank you for your excellent questions. Let's try to make more specific questions that are related to the actual genius and things that you struggle with, things that you want to know more about Bringing those things to our class is immensely helpful because it helps everybody who is coming to the class. So I think we have one more here, which is a blood sugar harmonization process. And so I want to share this with you. And this is one of these guides. These guides that we have in the form of ebooks, this is very good for sharing with somebody who's new, or people like Casey, if you just got your genius. You might want to check out these guides. Let's see if we can get this one to work. There we go. Okay, so here's a blood sugar harmonizing process, and it kind of takes a person through exactly what they need to do. There's some visuals on here. So check out these different guides. We sent them out a couple of newsletters ago, and they can really, really be helpful. So we want to do that. We also have the 3 basic processes. And V, if you're here, you did have a really good idea last time. We are going to make a page that's going to be just for those guides. I think that was a really good idea. So we'll share that in the newsletter. We'll have a new download page where you can go, you can find guides from past classes. I know that this has been a source of stress for people, so we want you to be able to get all of the free guides that we offer. So I think we're just going to have a dedicated page for that purpose. And we have our basic processes, especially if you're new to the Genius, you'll want to download this basic process document that tells you how to structure a session. So it tells you things you would utilize in a session in a very specific way. So let's go ahead and share this. This is the 3 basic processes. 3 basic processes. Okay, and let's get somebody in here who's never had a scan before. So be sure to volunteer with your date of birth so that we can work with you. And I want to show you a few other things. Okay, so this is the 3 basic processes. It's a structure that you would go through on your Genius that can really, really help you when you're new. So a couple other things we're going to use today, I use in my sessions, let's see if we can see it, is You Can Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, and it has a great amount of the metaphysical connections to different diseases. So as a biofeedback specialist, you're basically someone who looks at the frequencies and finds, sort of like doing many muscle tests at one time. You find the frequencies that are personalized and best for that person today. You don't need to interpret the frequencies. And the best way to interpret frequencies, if you want to, is through an emotional interpretation or perhaps a metaphysical interpretation, tying their physical symptoms to emotional underpinnings or patterns. Remember, you're not a doctor practicing medicine, and you don't need to be. Anyone can identify reds and blues within the Genius. The whole world is discovering that everything is resonance. Everything is frequency. Every moment of the day, you as an electrical being, we know that the brain has an electrical field. It's been measured by EEG. The heart has an electrical field. It's been measured by EKG. And the truth is, even your DNA has very, very tiny oscillations. And so you are frequency. You are constantly being influenced by the frequencies around you. So that could be the frequency of music is going to, you're listening to those tones, that is changing you. Maybe the vibes of your house or the place that you're going. Have you ever noticed that when you walk into a certain place, perhaps it's a temple, that when you walk in, you feel different? There's something about that place, or it's a healing center, it makes you feel good. What you're doing is you're entraining those frequencies of that place as you walk in. We are constantly being influenced by frequency. We know that Royal Rife employed, a doctor from the 1930s, employed frequency. He would play frequencies that when he looked under a microscope would affect certain microbes and pathogens. So what we've discovered is that frequency has a very big influence on us as human beings. In the Genius, you're taking frequency and you have the ability to play thousands of frequencies on the Genius and find the ones that are best for you today. those frequencies then change or shift you in some way. Every frequency on the Genius is designed to create something positive within that person. There are no negative frequencies on the Genius. It is only possible to do good. Therefore, you could take any random frequencies and run them on the Genius and still have a beneficial session. What makes it even better is choosing the ones that are red and blue for that person today. Those are the personalized frequencies that their energy field is communicating would be beneficial for you based on their voice and their picture. So you're getting an even better result because of this great ability to find the ones that are right for them. And as a biofeedback specialist, that's all you need to do. You need to know how to press the buttons, identify the reds and blues, put them in the tray, and begin a session for your client. That is all you need to do. But you could learn more. You could learn more about what the frequencies mean and then explain or put the pieces or patterns together for that person, mostly in terms of their emotional state or their mental state, not in terms of their physical state, because we never say anything on the Genius as a diagnosis or represents a particular physical condition. So I think you all know that. All right, so we did have a volunteer. So Amber, you wanted to volunteer your daughter. I guess my question is your daughter there who can give her voice, or do we have maybe another volunteer today? I also wanted to show you that we do have some remedy plates. So we have this larger remedy plate. It's sort of, you can see how large it is, right? It's sort of like an 8.5 by 11. And I want to show you the smaller one. The truth is that both of these plates do exactly the same thing. We are going to have another remedy plate class coming up. It'll be a free class for the community, and we'll talk about them. So these, you can also use the smaller remedy plate. So there's the smaller remedy plate. You can use, why do we have a larger remedy plate? So you have more surface area. So you have some more power there. So you could put a whole bunch of items onto your remedy plate and then work on them. We have a lot of people right now. We're going to do a lot more of this, and we're going to make them available on my website, really to show you what the possibility is. So we're going to make things like the wristbands and a few other things available on the site. And then I'll do a class showing you how to imprint these yourself and what kind of imprints you would do, how you would do it. I would love it if every single person that wanted to be a practitioner had these available on their website, because what we're finding is that imprinted bands, so they could be imprinted with vitamins and minerals. They could be imprinted with detox frequencies. They could be imprinted with superfoods. They could be imprinted with different frequencies that we utilize for inflammation, whatever it is. People are finding that when they put these imprinted bands on, that they're experiencing a significant change in how they're feeling. Selling or offering these that are not necessarily personalized is better, but these are generic frequencies, because some people will never come to you for a session, or this might be an impulse buy. There's be like an Etsy buy. So for, maybe $15, they get something that they understand. All they need to do is put it on their wrist. Now they're changed by frequency in some material way, and they have a connection with you. They're getting your emails, your newsletters. They're getting to know more about you. Then they may refer a friend or come for a session now that they feel more comfortable. We also have these really interesting plates. These are just silicone plates. They're trivets. But what you can do is you can take your Genius, you connect your remedy plate, and you charge the frequencies into this particular plate. And so the plate becomes imbued and takes up all the frequency. You then put this plate, you send it to the customer, and they put this plate, let's say it has detox frequencies, or it has frequencies to clear food or clear the elements like chlorine and water, things like that. It has a harmonizing frequencies. It has all the solfeggio tones. You put this, then you put your water, okay, over this. I think we have a glass of water here too. And so they sit their water actually on this. Now, what you want to do is you want to try this yourself. So get your remedy plate out and put this for, maybe get a set of frequencies that would be good for detox, or we have one for food purity or food quality, and then put whatever the food is, or put whatever the drink is, put the plate on here for maybe 15 minutes and run all of those frequencies. It could even be vitamins, minerals, herbs, emotions, flower essences, solfeggio tones, and then you run them into this plate for about 20 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes. You want to really entrain the frequencies into here. Then you do this yourself. You then take this trivet or this plate and you put the water on top of it, maybe for about 10 minutes. What happens when you do that? What is your experience? What if you put your meals on this the whole day? You are going to notice a shift. It is very amazing. And then this becomes a way that you can give a bonus to your clients, or you have something on your website that's really interesting. It tells a story. As you start to rack up some testimonials, people will tell you, I put that band on and the band was, for some other purpose, maybe just had vitamins and minerals and inflammation harmonizing, and they tell you my pain went away, my sleep got better. They're really amazing, and it's an underutilized part of the genius that we're going to be educating you more about. And I think having something like this on your website, that besides just the services, having some products, even imprinted gemstones, bracelets, things like that, very, very powerful. Okay, is there an issue with holding the frequencies for items that cross the border? So it is true, Lorraine, that's an interesting question that, again, now thinking of everything being frequency, that a lot of items are scanned as they go through the different postal services. So all you need to do is get some tin foil and wrap your particular media or item into the tin foil. What is the name of the bracelets to buy in Amazon? So we have been using a company called Rapid Wristbands. And what we do is we just customize the embossed. They're embossed here. So it means they have a deep imprint of the words that you want to say. And then we put our brand on the inside. It says geniusbiofeedback.com printed on the inside. So you just go to rapidwristbands.com and order maybe a small quantity to start off with in the color. We have different colors, mixed colors, whatever you like, and choose colors maybe that match your brand or match your website, and then they'll associate it with your brand. How long does an imprint last? An imprint can last about 6 months or more. So it'll probably just come back and get wristbands for different purposes. And then when you send something out by mail, you always send it out with your brochure with more information about you, so that when they're opening the package, they can read more about who you are and what you do. Janie says, when creating a library, is the title of the library archetype encoded? No, I don't believe it is. Not the title of the library. Does it need to be specific? Like, I think it's actually what you're getting frequencies of is what is within the library. Okay, so what can I do if I don't have a business name? You may just want to do affirmations on the wristband. Okay, so how much is the big one? The big one is online, geniusbiofeedback.com at boosted. It says boosted remedy plate for the larger one. Okay, Amber, let's talk with you, and we're going to talk a little bit about, you wanted to volunteer your daughter. And so we'd like to know a little bit more about what we're working on. So we'd like to know a little bit more about what we're working on, and have your daughter there ready, because we're going to go ahead and put this up on the screen here. So, and also if you can, I think we changed the settings. If you want to join us by camera feed, you can now join us by camera feed. So let's see if we can find you, Amber, and talk with you a little bit about how you're doing and how your daughter is doing. So I'm going to bring you up here, sort of on the stage, so to speak, as a panelist. Continue to send your questions about anything that we've talked about today, or your questions about the genius. What do you want to know? So Amber, are you there? Nope, let's go ahead and unmute her. And we can even I think we can now open up the camera. Oh, geez. Ask to start video. Okay, yeah. So if you want to, Amber, how are you doing today? Oh, there you are. You're on camera. Okay, you're both beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is my daughter Angel. I wanted to volunteer her because she has been having like chronic or reoccurring, I should say, like throat infection issues. I'd say once a month, once every other month, she gets like a really, really bad sore throat. It's hard for her to talk. She loses her appetite. And we've tried so many different things. So I'm just kind of curious on seeing your approach to it and where I can tweak it, on my end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So how often does she have a sore throat?
Once a month to once every other month.
And what can you tell us about the sore throat? What is there fever? Is it just that this throat feels scratchy?
What does it feel? Just like a lot of pain, scratchiness.
Like tight.
She says it's tight, hard to swallow. No fever.
Okay.
With it. So
okay.
she does
And how long
get
ago
it sometimes if she's
this
sniffing.
is really good. How long ago did this start?
Yesterday.
No, like how old were you? It's been happening for like years.
Okay. Okay. Now, what part of the country do you, or where are you in the world?
So right now we're in Wisconsin, but that's interesting you say that because we've hopped around. We moved to Hawaii when she was 4, and then Texas, and then Florida, and here. So I was thinking originally, oh, maybe it's her trying to adapt to the new environment. But even when we got settled in, and it's been a period of time, this is still, been happening. So
Okay. Okay. I completely understand. When you think about it yourself, being a mom, you probably have scoured like all the different possibilities. So when you think about it, what were some of your guesses or thoughts about what this might be about?
I keep coming back to emotional, but I'm trying to figure out, 'cause, emotions can be connected to different emotions to different like bacteria or viral, whatever. I'm trying to figure out which one to kind of hone in more. And
Okay.
also working with her to try to open it up to, okay, how do you feel? What memories are, you know what I mean? But it's kind of
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. Okay.
starting
All right. Well, let's record Amber's voice. So I'm going to cue you. I'll count you down here. And I'm going to go ahead and say, like, I'm going to start recording in 3, 2, 1. And then I'll say I'm recording. And so then we're going to hear your name and then the AEIOU. Looks like she's done this before. So I'll start recording in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Angel Sky A-E-I-O-U. 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 A-E-I.
That's absolutely perfect. Well, you did great. I love to see families using the Genius together. Like that is so great. And she already knows the whole process.
Yeah, I'm blessed that we came across it. It's been wonderful.
Okay, so let's see if I can finagle a way to actually get the picture here. So, okay, quick smile. Yay, hello. Okay, that was beautiful. Okay, there we go. And it's so fun to be able to utilize this in this remote fashion, this way that we can actually just work on her from here.
Right.
So, okay. So all we need to do is find some reds and blues. And of course we can do that without knowing what the particular issue is. So we're going to go ahead and work on that, and we'll work on the aura as well. All right. So anything else that you think it's important for me to know?
She did, when we first moved to Hawaii, she had a really bad staph infection that went, from her head down, underarms, all the way down to her legs. I don't know, staph and strep. I don't know if that could be interrelated at all. So
that's interesting. That's very interesting. And when you think about the winter season, does she get more infections than other kids, or just about the same?
I'd say it's more, and it's odd because even through the summer when, we're supposed to be a little more healthy because we get outside and that vitamin D, it's still, the same. And she is very active, very outdoorsy person. So we're outside a lot.
Okay, well, let me do some magical work here. We'll come back and we'll talk with you in just a little bit. Does that sound okay?
Perfect. Thank you much.
Okay, wonderful. Well, what a great case for us to work on. So why don't, if you have any particular suggestions, recommendations, things you want to look at, things you want me to test, go ahead and put them down into the chat. What's interesting right off the bat is the kidneys, huh? The kidneys being a little bit weak, and you could definitely take that as being connected to the maybe just a general weakness in the constitution as well. So just working on the kidneys on a regular basis, that might be a key thing that we can do. So if we actually go ahead and pop up in here, if we saw kidneys and we think about Chinese medicine, how it's like kidney jing, and when the kidney jing is a little bit on the weaker side or it's a little bit deficient, then we want to build it up, and we could build it up by working on the entire meridian. Let's take a little bit of a deeper dive. Let's look at the actual meridian itself, because that was just kidneys. And let's see if, so kidney meridian is sort of lighting up in the fact that it is a little bit lower. Let me see if I can get a little pointer going on here. All right, so the spotlight. All right, let's see if we can do this. Okay, so the kidney meridian is not red or blue, but it is at 173. So I think that, you know, it's under 200. That is significant. Let's go ahead and look at it. And so we've got these different kidney points. So what I would do then is I would take the kidney points and also put them up. So this, you know, rather than finding the root cause right away, which we're going to look at some of those things, this would be things that Amber can work on for her daughter. So this would be things to kind of build up and nourish the whole body. So we want to sort of look at things that are similar, things that we can put together to create sort of this nourishing or build up type of a balancing process or a little recipe for our balancing. And so then you could look at your Nogiers, right? Your Nogiers help to restore the systems to their original home frequency. So if you go to your Success Desk reference cards and then you pop in and you look at your Nogiers, there's a certain Nogier that is really for the main sort of the essential organs of the body. And that is going to be Nogier B. So Nogier B is 584 hertz. So you would be looking at the success cards here. And there's one that's for emotional harmony that we could use. I'm going to mention that in just a moment. And there's another one that is the universal frequency just for overall. So let's just review those for a moment. So if we go to our Nogiers, why do we use Nogiers? Nogiers, think of them as tuning forks. They help to ring in or chime in perfection in a certain area. Maybe while we're putting them in the above tray, the quick zap tray, we'll also put them in the lower tray or the main hold tray. So what I wanted to utilize was Nogier B, and it is 165, so that does make it kind of significant. And Nogier B is going to be for sort of the essential organs. I think it's not mentioned specifically on the cards, but it's going to be liver, gallbladder, kidney, all of those sort of organs in that abdominal sort of essential digestive area. So we would use that one, Nogier B, up into the quick zap. And just for fun, I'm going to also bring it down into the main hold tray. Then I'm going to use a Nogier for emotional harmony, which is Nogier F. Emotional harmony, why? Perhaps there is an emotional connection here. And so you can employ the powerful energies. Remember, some of our practitioners use the Nogiers in every single session that they do. They never do a session without the Nogiers because they're that powerful. And then we're going to look at the universal frequency, which is G. So you could utilize G in any session where you're stuck, you don't know what to do. Hey, let's at least include Nogier G. So we're also going to bring it down lower here. Now, Nogier E, because it is resonating for her, is interestingly enough, it's about the nervous system. So perhaps there is a stress factor in here that we're not really aware of. Perhaps there's an underlying sort of nervous system disruption going on that we're not aware of. Maybe she may not even be aware of it. So let's include Nogier E in there. And then let's look at this again. So we're supporting the kidneys, right, as a way to support the immune system. And then we're going to utilize the Nogier. So let's go ahead And let's put that for 1 minute. See if we don't have the tones there. Usually try to turn the volume down. Give them a little bit. Okay, and so we could just start off with something as simple as that. We took our lead from the kidneys being very high red in that today's stress, and we thought about, whoa, kidney disruption, kidney weakness, what we call kidney deficiency, that might be reflected in the kidney meridian. So let's go to that kidney meridian and utilize it. And then let's put in the Nogiers, where we might be able to bring the system back into balance. Every time you're looking at a frequency from the genius, you're considering it as a stress disturbance. Some part of that person's being is out of balance. The frequency, think about a guitar or piano that is not in tune. What would you do in order to correct it? You would tune it up. You would tune up the frequencies. We're doing that with the genius. We're tuning up that person's frequencies, because when we sound the note like on a piano and now it just chimes perfectly, that person will not be able to hold on to a disease state anymore. So people in the chat said, can I share something from the quick zap, or is it just the main whole tray? This is something that we're only at 13%. Let's get a little bit more of a balancing in here. That is something you definitely recommend to the developer and RW at insighthealthapps.com. Go ahead and shoot him a quick message and say, gosh, golly, if we could export to the Quantum Capsule from the quick zap, that'd be real helpful. And that would be a nice additional feature. Sherry says, could this be something to do with Epstein-Barr? You know, always thinking about Epstein-Barr as an underlying condition, something that Anthony Williams, right, wrote about in his books. We can always think about it. We could certainly check. We could do a quick entangled insights and see if it matches. Now, I think that, is this Loida said, because we're only seeing initials for some reason here. Adrenal is correct. Yes, you'd want to think about adrenal and kidney. Adrenal and kidney, they go hand in hand. Then Barbara says spinal energy she wants to look at. And Mardell says, look at the lymphatics. That's a good one as well. So there are certain wellness things that you can do. Now we went to 54%, right? You could do things like make sure that we're all drinking enough water. So does she drink enough water? Probably she does. Probably eat some nourishing food. And you could look at things like a castor oil pack over the liver, even for a young child, that's okay. And even look at the warming socks. This is something that we can put into the newsletter, our warming socks. That is a traditional hydrotherapy treatment that is used that you can do at home. It's a home treatment where you use a combination of cold and hot socks and get into a warm bed. We can explain it better. And what it does is it moves the blood as you sleep at night. Moving blood is incredibly important. We could think of this particular case as being a case of some type of stagnation or some type of depletion, right? We're working on the depletion angle with the kidneys, but when the immune system is not working, we could also think of it as stagnation. It would be like a gunky stream, right? Where there's no energy moving and lots of algae and things can grow. So we want to get things moving, and you can use things like a castor oil pack, which actually goes right through the skin and sort of stimulates lymphatics to start to move. And you could also use a warming socks session, which is where you put some cold socks on. Ooh, that doesn't sound good. But then you put some nice warm socks over it. I can explain it more in our weekly newsletter. And when you do that and you go to sleep in a very warm bed, it will actually cause a lot of the blood to move during the night. And that movement of blood really helps to clear up the congestion in the head, but can also boost the immune system. So these would be things to think about. So we did go to 54%. I'm going to close that tray. I'm going to go back to the aura. And now I want to say, how did those frequencies affect the aura? Because I want to learn as a practitioner, what difference did this make? So when we go to the aura here, this is where we started. And what we see is some density. We do see some gray or dark areas. We do see that she's trying to bring a lot of healing energy into her field. She's already working on herself, which is wonderful. I love her natural sort of connection to the frequencies and the genius. Pam, if you think you're not getting our weekly newsletter, everybody on our list usually gets our weekly newsletter. Just shoot me a friendly message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com or support@geniusbiofeedback.com. So things are beginning to clear up, and we see a lot of things sort of cleared from the field, some of that, whatever static going on. some of the density. So I have to kind of move the arrangement here. So there was some cloudiness, some gray, even some dark clouds in here. And then she got right down to business, sort of moved right into healing. There's still a little bit of darkness. Like we want to see this probably move into some purples, some blues, and just sort of lighten and brighten up as she goes through her process. So, but she, with all that green, she is definitely working on healing herself and really responding positively. Remember, we only just did 2 frequencies, 2 minutes of frequencies, not 2 frequencies. And so then let's go back here. Let's mosey back over here. And then, so remember, we're working on a chronic throat issue. So let's look at the chakras. Is there anything in the throat chakra? So the throat chakra is right here. It is at 139. So that definitely is significant. Let's go ahead and put it back into our quick zap, and let's put it into our lower tray. Root chakra at 32. That again goes back to our theory about just a little bit of deficiency for some reason. It could be wintertime, it could be your constitution. I hear like that she's actually moved to a few places, and that, you know, that could also be something that is affecting the root chakra. But we also are activated in our root chakra or working on it when we're working on a health issue. Sacral chakra. So she's got the first, second, and just the first, the second, and I would say the third is sort of activated to here because it is at 192. And so she's really doing a great, wonderful total almost chakra balancing. And so then there is that throat chakra. So we would really want to employ it also because we can bring energy to it. In the case of a deficiency, we could also bring energy to that. So then we'd want to bring in some flower essences. So if you want to just do something very, very quick, whatever balancing you do, you don't know anything about sore throat, you don't know anything about viruses, you don't know anything about anything. So then just bring in those flower essences. They're always going to be great. They may be more powerful than physical frequencies because they're helping with whatever the underlying emotional issue is. And with children, sometimes they don't even know or not able to verbalize what the issue is. So let's see if there's anything in Louise Hay's book here. And so the throat in general is an avenue of expression, a channel of creativity. So is there any reason that, or is there, let's ask it more like, is there a way that we could open that up more for the client? And the affirmation is, I open my heart and sing the joys of love. So she could say that affirmation every morning. I open my heart and sing the joys of love. Maybe singing, you know, singing is really powerful. Chanting and positive singing, that actually brings a lot of light and a lot of energy, because again, when you sing, you're utilizing frequency, and frequency can change and shift your entire being. And there's something special about singing, chanting, and toning. So maybe she can sing a song about I open my heart and sing the joys of love. She could put a little tune behind it and sing it as well. Sore throat, the inability to speak up for oneself, or just working on more self-expression and wanting to have the courage to change. So, I mean, I think that's a complexity that may be beyond a child's understanding of themselves and self-reflection. But here's one, and Amber, I hope you don't, that this one doesn't upset you, but it's the affirmation is, or the positive statement is, it's okay to make noise. Sorry about that. I express myself freely and joyously. I express myself freely and joyously. So kind of on the same path there. And then we've got the flower essences. I'm going to include a little bit more here. So wild rose is usually just feeling, drifting, resignation. She may feel maybe tired. Maybe that's part of the depletion. We've got the drifting and resignation. And it's overcoming drifting and resignation, feeling a new excitement, a new enthusiasm. I mean, when you think of wild rose, it sounds very, very exciting and wonderful. Now, anybody could do the analysis that I'm doing. You don't need to be a doctor to use Nogiers or to use flower essences or understand some basics about the kidney meridians. So wild rose, drifting, resignation, apathy, restore your spirit and feel enthusiasm. So what are the things that get you enthusiastic and make you want to sing? I want you to think about that, and think about that as being a way to open up that throat chakra and finally get rid of those sore throats. So that would be one way of working on it. So when you're with your client, you want to read them the flower essences from the success cards, and especially the positive aspect that invites them into a state of change. Rescue remedy is always, when you're working on something physical, rescue remedy can be really helpful to sort of change things very rapidly. We had Heather Chicory. Let's look at chicory and see what we can learn about wonderful chicory, a great herb, right, for the digestive system. And chicory is finding good boundaries, right? And also respecting other space. It's connected to the stomach, to 639 hertz and 714 hertz, which is about increasing self-expression. So it's interesting that the chicory is connected to creativity and self-expression. Let's go ahead and look at that. That is from the success card. So if you use your success cards every day, you really learn about a lot about the connected patterns from within the genius. So let's go ahead and see. We look at 639. It's not necessarily resonating, but we can utilize it. And then creative self-expression, let's go ahead and bring up that 741 as well. And it says we want transformation and miracles, so let's bring that up as well. And then we would run that for a minute. So you see how easy this could be. You don't have to analyze the whole universe. You don't have to go into the deep dive that I might do as a doctor. We can certainly peek at some of that, but just get some basics like Nogiers, restoring her to her home frequency, opening up the throat chakra, looking up the Louise Hay connection, understanding more about what it metaphysically might be related to, including some flower essences. Flower essences will never steer you wrong. They will always, they might help to resolve everything and move it into a positive direction. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, we love to sing. Okay, that's great. I love it. So more, I think that's probably the recommendation, Amber, is just more singing. Okay, Mardell says, for ease, I make a Nogiers and Solfeggio custom playlist. Okay, we can look at how to do that. And Angel takes a vitamin and mineral supplement every day and a probiotic. Good, that's a really good start. And you can always take those supplements and infuse them with solfeggio tones. So if you take your supplements in the morning, you can take the bottle or whatever you're going to take for the day and put it on a little dish and then charge it up with solfeggio tones or charge it up with Nogiers. And we can look at that playlist that she was referring to as well. So we got to 66% rectification. Again, let's go back and let's look at the aura. Now, how has the aura changed with the solfeggios and some of the flower essences? How did that affect the aura? And let's go ahead and take a look at it and see what we've got. So that's how you want to work with your practice, how you want to work with your clients. You want to show them the changes that they're making. Remember, I said I would like to see some more purple, some more blues. We got beautiful purple. And this is the person, they're opening up their own energy, right? The genius invites you into a place where ultimately you heal yourself, right? Your frequency, you take in the frequency, remind your body how ultimately to heal itself. So there's a frequency change. There's also the person allowing it and employing their own divine ability of healing. So we see this beautiful energy coming down. That means the person is pulling in their own divine healing capabilities, and they're also allowing or welcoming in a new awareness. So they're doing that. And then what we see is just beautiful pink. This is going to be more of a seventh chakra opening, like their magical energies up, and a beautiful sort of orange here, which is that second chakra going, tapping into the creativity that we talked about. So creativity must be part of the answer, right, of moving into beautiful new energies. Okay, so let's go back to Amber and Angel and see how they're doing. We're going to open up your microphone. And we're going to open up your video and just sort of get a check-in with you and see what your thoughts are about some of the things that we've been looking at for you. And there we go.
Oh,
So
perfect.
Amber, what do you two think about all of this?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, she is opening up more about she's wanting to be a part of dance. So, we got her hooked up with that and got her a bunch of paints because we found out she loves to, create beautiful art. So creativity definitely is a huge play here. But it's interesting that, the kidney linked with the adrenals. I was kind of following my little emotion cards and it said, unresolved jealousies and fears and stuff. And we had to work through some of that with, her little sister and all that, having a new person and balancing that out and everything, so and repressed emotions. So I think just learning to communicate more of what you're feeling in a healthy way is something that we got to work with too. So
Oh, is she the oldest,
she's the
eldest
oldest.
child?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there all the, yep, that makes a lot of sense. That makes so much sense. Yeah, I think just working on those kidneys, even like we mentioned, the adrenals, opening up the energies. I think all of that creative expression just
Mhm.
even opened up even more. It's just going to allow a lot of energy to start flowing. But do try have you ever read about the naturopathic hydrotherapy warming socks treatment?
It's been a long time, so I'm definitely gonna have to try that again for
Yeah,
sure.
it's amazing. Try it for yourself. It's amazing how revitalizing it is. We'll include the instructions in this week's newsletter. And certainly throat chakra for children, flower essences are so powerful. All of the solfeggiotones, Nogiers. I definitely know that we could take a deep dive and even go, further look at things like immune system. But ultimately, it is going to be those expressions, opening up the energies, working with those really wonderful high vibrational energies that the solfeggiotones and Nogiers and flower essences bring to us, and maybe even working with a different line, maybe the Australian bush essences or the orchid essences. It just continues to open up. And I think that works really great for kids. And hopefully from this, that you don't need to necessarily get to the root cause of the throat issue itself, but just
Mhm.
employ all of those really positive high energies for just opening up and moving everything in a very positive way. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think that's where I get kind of caught up. I'm like, okay, I have to go down the rabbit hole to get to the root. But you're right; it's as simple as just one layer at a time. And even just this today, I bet you she'll feel better once we just keep it simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And it'll be less stressful for you as well.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Thank you so much,
So
Dr.
great. Amber, I'm so glad that you asked us to work on her today. And thank you so much to Angel allowing us to work on her as well.
Yes, thank you, and everybody else. We appreciate the help.
All right, talk soon.
Yep.
Oh, there we go. Oh, don't worry about all the buttons I'm pressing here. Just mute you there. Okay. I'll unmute. But thank you so much again. And thank you. It's a really fun to work on a case. So when you come to class, be ready. You may want to volunteer for us to work with you, and come definitely with your questions. So let's look at that custom playlist function, and then we'll answer some other questions that you may have. Christina says, how to put the library to our Genius Biofeedback software. So Christina, I'm not quite getting the question. We do have many tutorial videos about creating a library. So maybe we could get one of those tutorial videos, emailed to you. Let's go ahead and let's look at the custom playlist function. What we do is we go to the navigation bar. So everybody has these 3 lines in the system overview. If we go to these, and then we go to custom playlist, what we would do is we would go to add, and we would name our new playlist Solfeggio Tones. I don't know if she has both, and Nogiers. I guess we could do it that way as well. So add items to the playlist. So we would go and we would see that the Nogiers are in the biofield area. I think the solfeggio tones are as well. So we would just check off. This is what Mardell does to be more time efficient. And so we would check those off. And then we would also go to solfeggio tones, and we would check off all of the solfeggio tones. So we're creating custom playlists, and then we're going to look at this together, what that looks like. So then we're going to save the custom playlist. Okay, so now all of these items are included in our playlist. And let's see if I think you want to double save it. So make sure you save it again. And then we go back here. We have solfeggio tones and Nogiers. So now when we go to our system overview, what we're going to do is we're going to actually clear the tray up here. I'm going to go to Quick Zap. We're going to clear our tray so we can look at this. Go ahead and clear it. And then we're just going to add, so we go to right here to the plus sign. When we go to the plus sign right here, it shows us our custom playlist. So everything in our custom playlist, and we're going to select solfeggio tones and Nogiers. So we'll go ahead and select them. And so Mardella, it is actually a great idea because now we've easily, in just one tap, we've put all of the Nogiers and all the solfeggios into that Quick Zap. I think, time is important to be efficient with time. And as a busy practitioner, what you could do now is you can just sort of do this tonifying. I think that this would be great. I've often recommended all the solfeggio tones to be done at the end of a session. I think it would be just as wonderful to do solfeggio tones and Nogiers together, or just Nogiers on their own. And by creating custom playlists, this allows you to put them all into the tray with just one tap. It makes it really, really easy. Okay, so thank you everyone who gives support to Amber and her daughter. Very, very nice comments. And any other questions? So any final questions as we sort of round everything up for today? Remember that we do have a special class. If you joined us after the hour, we're having a Thursday class at noon. We'll put it in the newsletter. We also put it in the link. If you scroll back into the chat, you can see the link there. So we're going to be talking all about the Quanta capsule. See if we can find that registration link one more time. And we're going to be talking about that at 3 o'clock Eastern. So just the important thing would be to bring your questions about, there we go, I just found the link. Bring your questions about the Quanta capsule. What would you like to know? What do you have the toughest time? Even send them to me in advance, Ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com. What would you most like to know about the capsule? Now, I want to make another observation here about this case is that Angel does go to rectification very quickly. And it's sort of a lesson about, even though we said there was some depletion, she's still young, she still has a very strong vital force. And what this is showing us is that she actually has the ability to sort of respond very quickly to the frequencies, which is a very, very healthy response. And as people, whether they age or it's sort of like your cell battery slows down or is not as efficient or not as electrical, you sort of move through the frequency balancing much more slowly. You end up with a 13% or 20% rectification. And if that's your client, remind them to drink more water, get some fresh vegetable juices, okay? Or, get an electrolyte. And over the next week, every morning when you get up, drink a full glass of water before you do anything else. And then somewhere in the mid-afternoon, drink another full glass of water. Get them in the habit of hydrating themselves. Honestly, you're supposed to drink water just in sips, but sometimes people just to get them into the habit, it can be helpful. So let's close that tray and we don't want to do that. Let's go back to the aura itself. And now let's see if there has been any other change. It's a beautiful change that we just did in the aura. And what we did is we ran the solfeggios and the Nogiers. Sophie says, I tend to select the same library items often. Do I need to create a master or custom? The problem we're facing at this moment is that you cannot use any of the, it's an interesting move. It reminds me when we sort of go back in, we try to keep working on the issue. So we're sort of, it seems like we go backwards a little bit. And sometimes if we even do that, we'll even clear things up even more. So she's going back and working on the physical body, maybe even working on the issue with all of these incredible frequencies that are in there. So once again, Sophie says she tends to work on the same library items often. You definitely could create a master branch. We could look at the master branch function real quickly. The problem is we really need to bring the ability to use the libraries into the custom playlist function. So remember to send a message to our wonderful developer, rw@insighthealthapps.com. I know it's something he's been asked about several times. It may even be something that he's been working on. And remember to ask him, hey, we really need that custom playlist to encompass all of the libraries, including those in the custom library area. Casey says, if the average rectification is under 40%, do you generally run it a second time? So the average percentage is a calculated average of harmony, alignment, and energy flow that you get as a score right there on your Genius. Hopefully you can see this area below here. And let's go ahead and do another minute here. Now, if we're already at 66%, technically we don't need to run it again. So to answer Casey's question, anytime that you're over 40%, you do not need to run the frequencies again. Over 40%, you are done with that series of frequencies. I'm actually running the frequency for longer just to see if I can get another shift in the appearance of the aura, to see if it makes a difference to run these for longer, because I know that these are very positive frequencies. The rectification is just a guide. It's meant to be the true biofeedback portion where we're able to tell somebody's made a change with these particular frequencies. And so you can see how I've utilized it throughout the class. When it's very, very low, there's something that's blocked there that's not allowing them to move through it. When it goes very quickly, even that is information that's very, very helpful for me to learn about the client. Let's see. Is there any side effects in the liver of doing frequencies and listening to a lot while programming for ourselves and others? So now see, this can happen. This is where we go through peaks and valleys, and we've almost run these frequencies maybe for too long, where it actually sort of the rectification goes down. But there's no downside to running frequencies. Let's talk about that a little bit in light of, I think it was Louisa's question. Let's see what happened in this last minute here. So going down to 37% probably says, hey, you should probably add something to this mix. Maybe we should add in the flower essences. That this was the maximum percentage at 66% made. Hey, that series of frequencies, I got a tremendous amount out of at that time. And this is a really interesting developing aura as we see. It may even be that all of those energies actually started to sort of bring something out. So we're sort of bringing a piece out here that we have not seen before. So we may be sort of cleansing, purging, detoxifying. This is a complex analysis that takes a little time to learn, but the general idea of the rectification percentage, let's see if we can look at the flower essences again in light of this particular tray, and just go ahead and we're just going to put maybe the reds and the blues in there. Let's put some reds and let's put some blues. We're going to wind up for the day in just a moment here. And so that would be my next move, is to just add in the flower essences, whereas we actually went down in rectification, asking for something to be shifted or changed within the tray, within your balancing process. Mardell says, when I use the master branch, I'm stuck there and cannot get back to the main library without going back to libraries and re-entering them to the client. Is that normal? Mardell, your question, I'm getting a little bit lost in that question itself. So I think it's better if you just send me an email and I can try to answer it. So back to Louisa's question, is there any side effects in the liver of doing frequencies and listening to it while running the frequencies for ourselves, or even running the frequencies for others? There's never any downside to running frequencies, whether you're listening to them while running them for someone else or you're running them for yourself, because the Genius works in partnership with your own innate intelligence. And it says, hey, I love these frequencies and I need more, which you could benefit from working on other people. Or it says, you know what? I don't need any more frequencies in this particular area. And so I'm just not going to take them on. So you don't have to worry ever that your innate intelligence is going to get it wrong. It always gets it right. There's no downside to listening or embracing frequencies throughout the day. That being said, since you are entraining positive frequencies throughout the day, it could have a massively positive influence on you as a person. So make sure that you drink more water, but it can't harm organs. It can't do anything negative. And so that's really important. This is non-toxic, non-invasive. It's subtle energy at its best. But with all the subtle energy changes and things that you're availing yourself to, then do drink some more water. Make sure you're open to allowing the energy to move. One more time, I want to remind you that on Thursday, we have a wonderful free class about the Quantum Capsule. Bring all of your questions. If you've never used the Quantum Capsule, you've been scared about using the Quantum Capsule, or you're an old pro, or you want to learn tips about building your business, come to that Quantum Capsule class so that we can answer your questions. And also I will learn what some of your pain points might be, things that you're still having trouble with that maybe we haven't elucidated enough. We do have many Quantum Capsule videos and tutorials. So I want to know if you're maybe being able to find them or know where to find that information. So, and the link, I think we've already shared that link. And let's get one more time. This is the registration link for the Thursday class, for the Thursday Quantum Capsule class is now in the chat area. It's really interesting. We're actually ending on an aura that looks like it's just an absolutely beautiful painting. It's more balanced in terms of the colors that you're seeing. There's a very, very bright green light there, which is, wow, this is all the healing and heart energy she's bringing into her field. And just beautiful blue energy, that's going to be the chakra opening up. Some beautiful pink energy being the chakra, the seventh chakra, really, really opening up and bringing in divine energy. It looks absolutely beautiful. So Angel, you're doing a wonderful job at healing yourself and allowing these frequencies. So I want to thank everyone for joining us for the class. Remember, next week, bring your greatest questions about the genius or features, or even email me, Ariel@geniusbiofeedback.com. What should we focus on for our training? We always have a topic for you, but we're always interested in what is the most difficult thing for you about using the genius and how can we make it easier for you? With that in mind, have a wonderful day, everyone. We'll see you back here next week and also on Thursday for our Quantum Capsule class. Take care, everyone. Be well. Bye-bye for now.